So Peter Drucker said that culture will eat strategy for breakfast. Culture will eat strategy for breakfast. I say culture will eat strategy for breakfast, dinner, and lunch. Culture is everything. What is culture? The dominant belief system of a people. The dominant belief system of a people. Some people say it's transcend. It can, but a lot of times it's passed from generation to generation. Let me give you an example of culture. A woman was frying sausage. You know this sausage. And the woman will cut it into two before she fries. So one day the daughter comes to her and says, Mommy, why do you cut the sausage into two before you fry? She said, I don't know. Let me ask my mom. So she called her mom. Mom, why do you cut sausage into two before you fry? I saw you do it when I was growing up. The mom said, I don't know. Let me call grandma. So the mom called grandma. Grandma, why do you cut sausage into two when you want to fry it? Then grandma said, oh, wow. When I got married to your father, we were so poor. We had this very small fry pan that could not contain a whole sausage. So I normally cut it so that the frying pan could contain it. That's why I cut my sausage into two. Now, this is a woman living in a place maybe like VGC or Banana Island. Now, that's the woman to whom the child posed the question. Living in VGC, Banana Island, has the biggest fry pan, but she was still cutting her sausage into two. Why? Because that was the tradition. That was the culture. As a matter of fact, this woman did not know the reason behind it. He just saw grandma did it, passed it to her own, great-grandma did it, passed it to her own mom passed it to her. If her child never asks that question, he's going to pass it to the child. That's culture. It's transferred through observation, through indoctrination, through sensitization, through enlightenment. Our culture in Nigeria is not anti-children. Our culture in Nigeria is not anti-children, but it's not deliberately pro-children. It's not deliberately pro-children. We are not anti-children, we are for children. But we are not deliberate in standing up for children, in protecting children. We are not deliberate about it. And that is why it is necessary to have this conversation on the link between culture and the rights of children. So let me begin from how we see children. In Africa, we treat children the way we see them. We see them the way we were seen growing up. How were we seen growing up? How were we treated? Were we treated as persons? That's the number one question we need to ask. Were we treated as persons? Now, a person has worth. A person can think. A person has the capacity to make choices. Now, you, as you are listening to me or you are going through this course, ask yourself the question, were you treated as a person? If you were treated as somebody who has worth, your mom cannot just look at you in public and give you a slap. If she recognizes that you have worth, now look at it this way. A man beats a man, you say the man is violent. A woman beats a woman, you say the woman is a troublemaker. A child beats a man, you say the child is cursed, is unruly. A child beats an adult, you say the child is an untrained child. But an adult beats a child, you say it is discipline. How come when a woman beats a woman, it's not discipline? How come when a man beats a man, it's not discipline? How come when a child beats an adult, it's not discipline? It should go across board. Now, this is the point. Does that mean the child should be watched doing the wrong thing? No, that's what I'm saying. Now, there's nothing the child can do that will warrant any form of abuse, particularly what we call physical abuse, which we glorify in the name which we call discipline. Now, look at it. There's nothing a child can do that will warrant slapping the child blue and black if you know that the child is a person of worth. Now, let me give you a quick example. If you drive a car and you drive through one way and a police officer arrests you, when the police officer arrests you, you are already in breach of the law. Now, you are in breach of the law, but can the police officer slap you? Now, the police officer cannot slap you. Once the police officer slaps you, you are going to resist and say, no, police officer, don't slap me. Yes, I've driven past one way. It is against the law. But you do not have the right to dehumanize me by slapping me. You are going to reject that very quickly. Now, this is the question. Did you drive through one way? Yes. Is it against the law? Yes. Now, does the law allow you to be dehumanized before you drove through one way? No. The same way, did the child steal a piece of meat in the pot? Yes, he did. Is it right for the child to steal a piece of meat in the pot? No, it is not. Is that why you should use blade to cut him or ask him to sit on a stove or deny him of food for 2 or 3 days? No, that's dehumanization. So, but the problem a lot of times in our homes, we do not have rules and regulation that govern behavior. We respond. We respond at the spur of the moment. We don't have rules and regulations that govern behavior. So when you know that a child is a reasoning being, what are you going to do? You are going to have conversations with children. You're going to have conversations with them. You're going to talk to them because they are reasoning beings. Animals are beings of instinct. A goat does not think. A goat does not reason. That is why a goat does not have shame. In the animal kingdom, there's no incest. There's no incest in the animal kingdom. There's no incest there. Incest there. If, as a matter of fact, there's no brother and sister in the animal kingdom. The day you are born, you are on your own. So, in the animal kingdom, there's no incest. In the animal kingdom, there's no shame. So, there's no discipline in the animal kingdom. Now, but in the human kingdom, there's the reasoning. Anything you want to say to a child, you can help the child to reason through it. You can help the child to reason through everything you want to talk to the child. When last did you have conversation with your children? But you see, when a child is not doing well, in your own view, and that the child is not doing well, does not mean the child is not doing well, because the child, what you are saying the child is doing or not doing well, may be as a result of your own culture, as a result of your own belief system, which may not be wrong in itself. For example, if a child is still wetting his or her bed as a teenager, is that wrong? It's not. It's just that the child may need medical help. There may be things you need to do as a parent to ensure that you help your child. These are critical issues. So a child is a reasoning being. Let me now tell you clearly. Whatever you do not reason with a child with, the child cannot get it. No child gets anything by force, by slapping, by beating, and all of that. Time will fail me to expand on that. Number 3, a child has the power of choice. We must train all of this in children. We must train them to understand their worth. Nobody can put them down. They cannot put down themselves. Number 2, we must train them to understand that they can think. They can differ. They can think. Number 3, we must train them to know that they have choices. One of the power of their choices is to be able to say, no, I say no to this. I'm not going to accept this. These are fundamental things. Now, all of this will dovetail into the whole idea of who owns the child. Who owns the child? In Africa, there's this general belief that children are properties of parents. No. A child is not a property of the parents. A child is a property of the state. If it's property of anybody, a child is not even a chattel. A child is not a property. A child is a person. A child is not even a minor. Because we refer to children minor. But many years ago, I began to disagree with that definition of children as minor. And later I read in the book written by Hillary Clinton, It Takes a Village, where she said that children are not minors, they are complete human beings. Children are complete human beings. So in conclusion, we must recognize that children are not properties of parents. That is why you cannot come on Christmas Day and slaughter your child as Christmas chicken. You cannot carry your child and you cannot get home. You are trying to cook. You cannot get home and you are trying to cook a pot of rice, and you check your gas cylinder and there's no gas in your gas cylinder, and you call your 11-year-old, say, come. Say, mommy, what's the problem? Say, there's no problem. I'm trying to cook rice. I don't have gas, so I want to use your leg to cook the rice. And when the child comes, say, but you are still a child now. The child has feelings. The child is a human being. You cannot say because you have one religion, because of your religion, your child must not take blood transfusion. A child is anybody below 18 years old. The child should take blood transfusion. The child belongs to the state, and that's that the state arrests people for beating their children mercilessly. That's why the state arrests people for sexually molesting children, because children belong to the state. We must move away from this thinking that children are our property. We are caretakers. We are caregivers. The chief duty bearer in the lives of children is the state. We must respect the position of the state. We must respect the law of the state. Our culture must rise above all this idea of the best interests of the society, and it must begin to embrace the best interests of the child, because the position globally is that anything that has to do with children, the best interest of the child must be the primary aim.